First contact. The night sky above the New Mexico desert shimmered with countless stars, a celestial tapestry that had captivated Dr. Samantha Carter since childhood. Now, as she peered through the massive radio telescope at the Very Large Array, that same sky held the promise of something more, the potential for alien life. Samantha's fingers flew across the keyboard, adjusting parameters and fine-tuning the array's focus. For months, she had detected an anomalous signal, a pattern too regular to be natural and too complex to be dismissed as terrestrial interference. Tonight, she was determined to pinpoint its source. "Come on," she muttered, her eyes fixed on the scrolling data. "Show me what you're hiding." As if in response to her plea, the monitors suddenly erupted with activity. Graphs spiked, readouts flashed, and a haunting, rhythmic pulse filled the control room. "Holy shit," Samantha breathed, her heart racing. "This is it. This is really it." She reached for her phone to alert her colleagues, but before she could dial, a blinding light flooded the room. Samantha shielded her eyes, stumbling back from her workstation. When the glare subsided, she found herself face to face with something impossible. A figure stood before her, tall and lithe, with skin that shimmered like polished opal. Its eyes, deep pools of swirling violet, regarded her with an unsettling intelligence. Dr. Samantha Carter, the being spoke, its voice resonating in her mind rather than her ears. "We have traveled far to find you." Samantha's scientific mind warred with the impossible reality before her. "Who? What are you?" "I am Zara, emissary of the Luminary," the alien replied, "and we need your help." Over the next hours, as government officials and military personnel swarmed the facility, Zara revealed the dire situation facing her people. The Luminary, an ancient and advanced civilization, were facing extinction. A genetic degradation was causing widespread infertility, and their population was dwindling rapidly. "Our scientists have searched the galaxy for a solution," Zara explained to the assembled human leaders, "and we have found it in humanity." The room erupted in murmurs and exclamations. Samantha leaned forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her shock. "What do you mean? How can we possibly help?" Zara's gaze settled on Samantha. "Your species possesses a unique genetic marker, one that could stabilize our deteriorating DNA. But it requires more than a simple genetic sample. It requires integration." The alien's meaning became clear as she continued. The Luminary needed a human volunteer to undergo a complex biological merger with their queen. This process, part scientific procedure and part mystical ritual, would infuse the Luminary with humanity's genetic resilience. "You're talking about breeding with your queen," General Hawthorne, the highest-ranking military officer present, scoffed. "This is absurd. How do we know this isn't some kind of invasion tactic?" Zara's form shimmered with what seemed to be frustration. "If invasion was our goal, we possess the technology to do so effortlessly. We come in peace, seeking salvation. In return, we offer to share our advanced knowledge with humanity. This could propel your civilization centuries ahead in science, medicine, and space exploration." The debate raged for hours. The potential benefits were enormous, but so were the risks. How could they trust these aliens? What if the process harmed the human volunteer? What if it was all an elaborate deception? Through it all, Samantha's mind raced. The scientist in her marveled at the opportunity to study an advanced alien species. The human in her recoiled at the idea of such an intimate merger with an unknown being. But another part of her, the part that had always dreamed of the stars, felt a pull towards this cosmic adventure. As dawn broke over the desert, a decision was reached. The U.S. government, in consultation with other world powers, agreed to consider the Luminary's proposal, but they needed time to verify Zara's claims and to find a suitable volunteer. Zara's relief was palpable. "We thank you for your consideration, but I must stress the urgency of our situation. Our queen, and with her the future of our species, has precious little time left. We will return in one lunar cycle for your answer." With that, Zara vanished in another flash of light, leaving behind a room full of stunned humans and 1,000 unanswered questions. In the weeks that followed, the world changed. Governments struggled to maintain order as news of the alien visitation spread. Religious leaders grappled with the theological implications. Scientists worked around the clock to analyze the data from the encounter. Samantha found herself at the center of it all. As the human who had made first contact, she was thrust into the spotlight, her expertise sought by leaders and researchers alike. But as she pored over the luminary data, a realization began to form. The genetic marker Zara had mentioned, Samantha possessed it. In fact, her genetic profile was an exceptionally strong match for what the luminary needed. The implications were staggering. On the eve of the luminary's return, Samantha stood before the hastily assembled Global Council. Her voice shook slightly as she spoke, but her resolve was firm. "I volunteer," she said, her words echoing in the stunned silence. "I'll go with the luminary. I'll do whatever it takes to save their species and secure this alliance for humanity." Protests erupted immediately. She was too valuable as a scientist. The risks were too great. They couldn't trust her safety to the aliens, but Samantha stood her ground. "This is bigger than any one person," she argued. "This is about the future of two species, maybe the future of the entire galaxy. We can't let this opportunity slip away because we're afraid." As the council debated, a familiar light filled the room. Zara had returned, and with her, a decision had to be made. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, and Samantha Carter stood at the crossroads of history, ready to take a leap into the unknown. The council chambers fell silent as Zara materialized, her opalescent form casting prismatic patterns across the walls. Her alien eyes swept the room before settling on Samantha. "You have made your decision?" Zara asked, her telepathic voice tinged with hope and urgency. Samantha stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "Yes, I volunteer to go with you, to help save your people." A ripple of what could only be described as relief passed through Zara's ethereal form. "Your courage honors us, Dr. Carter. But are you certain? The journey ahead will be fraught with challenges beyond your imagining." Samantha nodded, a wry smile tugging at her lips. "I've spent my life searching the stars for signs of life. I'm not about to back down now that they've come knocking." And so, as the world watched with a mixture of awe and trepidation, Dr. Samantha Carter prepared to embark on the greatest journey in human history. The fate of two civilizations rested on her shoulders, and the stars beckoned with promises of wonders and perils yet unknown. Journey to the stars. The launch pad at Cape Canaveral buzzed with an energy unlike any previous mission. Dr. Samantha Carter stood before the sleek, otherworldly craft that would carry her across the cosmos. Its iridescent hull pulsed with an inner light, a testament to the advanced technology of the luminary. "Godspeed, Dr. Carter," General Hawthorne said, extending his hand. "The hopes of humanity go with you." Samantha shook it firmly, her eyes gleaming with determination. "I won't let Earth down, sir, or the luminary." As she turned to board the ship, a commotion erupted from the crowd of onlookers. A man broke through the security cordon, sprinting towards her. "Sam, wait." Samantha's heart clenched as she recognized the voice. David. Her ex-fiancé, Dr. David Chen, skidded to a halt before her, panting. "You can't do this, Sam. It's too dangerous. We don't know anything about these aliens or what they really want." Samantha's expression softened. "David, we've been over this. This is bigger than us, bigger than any personal fears or doubts. The potential benefits for humanity." "To hell with humanity," David interrupted, his voice cracking. "What about us? What about our plans, our future?" For a moment, Samantha wavered. The life she'd imagined with David flashed before her eyes. A cozy home, children, quiet nights stargazing together. But then she looked back at the alien ship, at the stars that had always called to her, and her resolve hardened. "I'm sorry, David," she said softly, "but this is my destiny. I have to go." With a final sad smile, she turned and strode up the gangway. The ship's entrance sealed behind her with a whisper, cutting off David's anguished pleas. Inside, Zara awaited her. "Are you prepared, Dr. Carter?" Samantha took a deep breath, pushing aside her emotional turmoil. "As I'll ever be. Let's make history." The launch was unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. There was no countdown, no roar of engines. One moment, the ship rested on the pad, the next it simply wasn't. A collective gasp rose from the crowds as the craft vanished, leaving behind only a shimmering distortion in the air. Aboard the ship, Samantha marveled at the absence of any sensation of movement. "How is this possible?" she asked, peering out a viewport at the rapidly shrinking Earth. "We manipulate the fabric of spacetime itself," Zara explained. "Your physicists call it an Alcubierre drive, though our implementation is far more advanced." As Earth dwindled to a pale blue dot, Samantha felt a profound shift in her perspective. She was leaving behind everything she'd ever known, venturing into a universe of infinite possibilities. The journey to the luminary homeworld, Lumina Prime, would take several Earth weeks. Samantha spent the time immersing herself in luminary culture and technology. She learned of their rich history, their triumphs and struggles, and the looming threat of extinction that drove them to seek out humanity. "Our scientists detected the compatibility markers in your species centuries ago," Zara revealed one day. "We've been watching your development, waiting for the right moment to make contact." Samantha frowned. "Why wait? If your situation is so dire, why not reach out sooner?" Zara's form shimmered with what Samantha had come to recognize as sadness. "We needed humanity to reach a certain level of scientific and cultural development. The merging process is as much spiritual as it is biological. Your species needed to be ready." As they delved deeper into the nature of the merging, Samantha's scientific mind raced with questions and theories. The process, as Zara described it, went far beyond simple genetic manipulation. It involved a melding of consciousness, a union of two beings at the most fundamental level. "But how can we be certain it will work?" Samantha pressed. "The physiological differences between our species are enormous." Zara's response was cryptic. "There are forces at work beyond what your science can yet comprehend, Dr. Carter. The universe has a way of balancing itself." As they approached Lumina Prime, Samantha's excitement was tempered by a growing unease. The enormity of what she was about to attempt weighed heavily upon her. What if she failed? What if the process killed her, or worse, what if it succeeded, but at the cost of her very identity? Her anxieties reached a fever pitch as the ship entered Lumina Prime's atmosphere. The planet was a breathtaking sight, swirling bands of color reminiscent of Jupiter, but with land masses visible through the gaseous layers. "Welcome to our world, Dr. Carter," Zara said as they descended towards a massive crystalline structure that dominated the horizon. "And to your destiny." The ship touched down on a platform extending from the crystal spire. As the gangway lowered, Samantha steeled herself for what was to come. She had traveled across the stars, farther than any human in history. Now came the true test of her courage and humanity's potential. A delegation of luminari awaited them, their forms even more ethereal and haunting than Zara's. At their center stood a being of such luminous beauty that Samantha felt her breath catch. "Behold," Zara announced, "Queen Lyra, last of the luminari royal line." The queen approached, her movements graceful and otherworldly. When she spoke, her voice resonated not just in Samantha's mind, but in every fiber of her being. "Dr. Samantha Carter," Queen Lyra intoned, "you who have journeyed so far, who carry within you the hope of two worlds. Are you prepared to undergo the joining?" Samantha swallowed hard, her voice barely above a whisper. "I am." As she followed the queen into the crystal spire, Samantha felt as though she were walking into a dream. The fate of two species rested on what would happen next, and she was at the center of it all. The interior of the spire was a marvel of alien architecture, with soaring ceilings and walls that seemed to pulse with living light. Samantha was led to a chamber deep within the structure, where a pool of swirling, opalescent liquid dominated the center. The nexus of unity, Queen Lyra explained, gesturing to the pool. Here, our essences will merge, and the future of both our peoples will be forged. Samantha approached the edge, peering into the mesmerizing depths. "What exactly will happen to me?" she asked, unable to keep a tremor from her voice. The Queen's expression softened. "Fear not, brave one. Your consciousness, your very self, will remain intact, but you will be expanded, changed in ways you cannot yet comprehend." As final preparations were made, Samantha's mind raced with a whirlwind of emotions. Excitement, fear, doubt, and determination warred within her. She thought of Earth, of her family and friends, of David. Would she ever see them again? Would they even recognize her if she did? But as she stood on the precipice of this cosmic transformation, another feeling rose above the rest, a sense of rightness, of destiny fulfilled. All her life, she had looked to the stars, seeking answers to the great mysteries of existence. Now, she stood ready to become part of those mysteries. Queen Lyra extended her hand, her form beginning to glow with an inner radiance. "Are you ready, Samantha Carter of Earth?" Samantha took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. She thought of all that had led her to this moment, her lifelong passion for science, her unwavering curiosity about the universe, and the courage that had driven her to volunteer for this unprecedented mission. "I'm ready," she said, her voice strong and clear. She took the Queen's hand, and together they stepped into the nexus of unity. The opalescent liquid enveloped them, and Samantha felt a surge of energy unlike anything she had ever experienced. It was as if every atom of her being was singing, resonating with the very fabric of the cosmos. As her consciousness began to expand, merging with that of Queen Lyra and touching the collective essence of the luminary, Samantha's last coherent thought was one of wonder and awe. She had come to save an alien species, but in doing so, she was about to unlock the next stage of human evolution. Whatever emerged from this joining would change the course of two civilizations forever. The universe held its breath as human and luminary became one, and a new chapter in cosmic history began to unfold. Cosmic metamorphosis. The nexus of unity pulsed with an otherworldly energy, its opalescent surface rippling with patterns that defied human comprehension. Within its depths, Dr. Samantha Carter and Queen Lyra had become a single entity, their consciousnesses intertwined in a dance of cosmic proportion. Time lost all meaning as Samantha's mind expanded beyond the confines of her human experience. She saw the birth of stars, the collision of galaxies, the intricate dance of quantum particles. The collective knowledge of the luminary poured into her, filling every synapse with millennia of alien wisdom. But this was no passive absorption of information. Samantha's uniquely human perspective clashed and melded with the alien consciousness, creating something entirely new. Her tenacity, her creativity, her capacity for lateral thinking, these distinctly human traits sent shockwaves through the luminary collective. As the merging reached its crescendo, a blinding light erupted from the nexus, bathing the crystal spire in a radiance visible from orbit. The assembled luminary fell to their knees, overwhelmed by the psychic backlash of the joining. When the light faded, a single figure rose from the pool. She was neither fully human nor luminary, but a breathtaking synthesis of both. Samantha's auburn hair now flowed like living flame, her skin shimmered with the opalescence of the luminary, and her eyes held the depth of galaxies. "I am Samara," the being spoke, her voice resonating with harmonics that stirred the very air. The bridge between worlds, the harbinger of a new era. Zora approached cautiously, her form flickering with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "My queen." "Dr. Carter, are you? Both of you?" Samara smiled, the expression at once alien and achingly human. "I am both, and I am more." The joining has succeeded beyond all expectations. The genetic degradation of the luminary can be reversed, and humanity's potential has been unlocked. As news of the successful merger spread, both Earth and Lumina Prime erupted in celebration. But amid the joy, pockets of resistance began to form on both worlds. On Earth, religious fundamentalists decried the joining as an abomination, a corruption of the human soul. Politicians worried about the implications of such a powerful being with divided loyalties. Scientists clamored for access to the new hybrid, seeing her as the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. On Lumina Prime, conservative factions of the Luminary viewed the introduction of human DNA as a pollution of their pure bloodline. They feared that the changes brought by Samara would erode their ancient traditions and way of life. Samara, with her expanded consciousness, foresaw the challenges ahead. She knew that bridging the gap between two vastly different species would be a monumental task, but she also saw the incredible potential that lay in the union of human ingenuity and luminary wisdom. In the days that followed, Samara began to implement sweeping changes. She oversaw the distribution of a genetically engineered retrovirus that would halt and reverse the luminary's genetic degradation. At the same time, she began sharing advanced luminary technology with Earth, ushering in a new age of clean energy, space exploration, and medical breakthroughs. But it was in the realm of ideas that Samara's impact was most profound. She introduced the concept of cosmic empathy, a philosophy that emphasized the interconnectedness of all life in the universe. This new way of thinking began to reshape both human and luminary societies, breaking down old barriers and fostering a sense of galactic community. As Earth and Lumina Prime drew closer together, Samara turned her attention to the stars. With her unique blend of human curiosity and luminary foresight, she saw that the galaxy was teeming with life, much of it in need of guidance and protection. "We stand at a crossroads," Samara announced in a historic address broadcast to both worlds. "No longer are we alone in the cosmic night. It is time for us to take our place as shepherds of the galaxy, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no human or luminary has gone before." Her words ignited a spark of adventure in both species. Joint human luminary crews began to venture out into the galaxy, exploring strange new worlds and making first contact with dozens of alien civilizations. But as humanity and the luminary expanded their influence, they encountered new challenges. Not all species welcomed their arrival, and dark forces lurked in the cosmic depths, ancient, slumbering threats that Samara's enhanced senses could only dimly perceive. On a personal level, Samara grappled with her dual nature. Though she had access to the memories and emotions of both Samantha Carter and Queen Lyra, reconciling these two vastly different lives proved challenging. There were moments when she longed for the simplicity of her former human existence, and others when the weight of luminary responsibility threatened to overwhelm her. It was during one such moment of inner turmoil that an unexpected visitor arrived on Lumina Prime. David Chen, Samantha's former fiancé, had undertaken the long journey across the stars, driven by a mix of love, guilt, and an unquenchable need for closure. When Samara laid eyes on him, a flood of human emotions surged through her. The love Samantha had felt for David, the pain of their parting, it all came rushing back with an intensity that threatened to shatter her carefully maintained balance. "Sam," David's voice quavered as he took in her transformed appearance. Is it really you in there?" Samara approached him slowly, her ethereal beauty both alluring and intimidating. "Yes and no, David," she replied, her voice a melody of human warmth and alien resonance. "I am Samantha, but I am also so much more. I'm sorry if that's not the answer you were hoping for." David's eyes welled with tears. I needed to see you, to know if there was anything left of the woman I loved." Samara felt a pang of regret, not for the choice she had made, but for the pain it had caused. She reached out, gently cupping David's face in her shimmering hands. As she did, a spark of her power flowed into him, granting him a momentary glimpse of the vastness she now perceived. David gasped, staggering under the weight of the cosmic vision. When he regained his composure, he looked at Samara with new understanding. "You're not just Sam anymore, are you? You're something incredible." Samara smiled sadly. "I am what both our species needed me to be. A bridge, a catalyst, a harbinger of change. The Samantha you knew will always be a part of me, but my purpose now extends far beyond any single individual or even any single world." As they talked, Samara felt a shift within herself. The conflict between her human and luminary aspects began to settle into a more harmonious balance. She realized that it was this very duality, this ability to bridge vastly different perspectives, that make her uniquely suited to guide both species into the future. David's visit, though bittersweet, had helped to ground her, to reconnect her to her human roots, even as she embraced her expanded role in the cosmos. As David prepared to return to Earth, Samara made him a promise. "I will never forget where I came from, David. Humanity's spirit, its resilience, its creativity, its capacity for love, will always be a part of me. And I will use everything I have become to ensure that both our peoples thrive among the stars." With a final tender embrace that held echoes of their shared past and hints of an unimaginable future, Samara bid David farewell. As she watched his ship depart, streaking across the alien sky of Lumina Prime, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, diplomatic, scientific, and perhaps even martial. But with the combined strength of humanity and the luminary, guided by her unique perspective, Samara knew they were ready to face whatever the cosmos might throw at them. She turned her gaze to the stars, her enhanced senses perceiving the intricate web of life and energy that connected all things. A new age was dawning, not just for Earth and Lumina Prime, but for the entire galaxy. And Samara, once a curious human scientist named Samantha Carter, now stood ready to lead the way into this bold new future. The true adventure, she realized, was only just beginning. Galactic Crucible. The starship Harmony, a marvel of human ingenuity and luminary technology, glided silently through the cosmic void. On its bridge stood Samara, her iridescent form a stark contrast to the sleek, futuristic surroundings. Her eyes, swirling with the colors of distant nebulae, scanned the star-studded expanse before them. "Captain," she addressed the human officer at the helm, "set a course for the Andromeda Galaxy. It's time we expanded our horizons beyond the Milky Way." A ripple of excitement passed through the bridge crew, a mix of humans and luminary working in perfect sync. The idea of intergalactic travel, once the stuff of science fiction, was now within their grasp. As the Harmony prepared for its momentous journey, Samara reflected on the incredible progress made in the years since the joining. The alliance between Earth and Lumina Prime had ushered in an unprecedented era of advancement. Faster-than-light travel, zero-point energy, and quantum communication were now commonplace technologies. But with great power came great responsibility. As humanity and the luminary ventured further into the cosmos, they encountered wonders beyond imagination and terrors that haunted the space between stars. The ship's AI, an advanced construct born from the merger of human and luminary computer science, suddenly chimed in. "Samara, I'm detecting an anomalous energy signature at the edge of our sensor range. It doesn't match any known phenomena in our database." Samara's brow furrowed. Her enhanced senses reached out, probing the fabric of space-time. What she perceived sent a chill down her spine, a void, a nothingness that seemed to devour light and life itself. "All stop," she commanded. "Raise shields and charge weapons. We may have stumbled upon something far beyond our current understanding." As the crew scrambled to comply, a massive shape emerged from the darkness of space. It defied description, a writhing mass of tentacles and void, punctuated by glowing sigils that hurt the eyes to look upon. "By the cosmic core," breathed the luminary science officer. "It's a nullifier. a being of anti-existence spoken of only in our most ancient legends. Samara's mind raced. The combined knowledge of humanity and the luminary offered no solution, no precedent for dealing with such an entity. Yet she knew that if this cosmic horror were to reach inhabited space, entire civilizations could be wiped from existence. "Open a channel," she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her core. "Let's see if we can communicate with it." But as the comm officer attempted to establish contact, the nullifier lashed out. Tendrils of unlight struck the harmony, draining energy from its shields and causing reality itself to warp and buckle around the ship. "Evasive maneuvers," Samara shouted, her form flickering as she channeled power to reinforce the failing shields. "We need to buy time to figure out how to stop this thing." What followed was a deadly dance through the cosmos. The harmony unleashed its formidable arsenal: quantum torpedoes, tachyon beams, and graviton pulses, but each attack seemed to pass harmlessly through the nullifier's non-corporeal form. As the battle raged, Samara delved deep into her dual consciousness, searching for a solution. The human part of her refused to give up, pushing for creative, out-of-the-box thinking. The luminary aspect provided access to esoteric knowledge and cosmic awareness. Suddenly, an idea crystallized, a desperate gambit that flew in the face of conventional physics. "Divert all power to the main deflector," she commanded. "We're going to create a pocket of hyper-reality, a space where existence itself is amplified." The crew looked at her in confusion, but years of trust overrode their doubts. As the nullifier closed in for the kill, its tendrils of oblivion reaching for the ship, Samara activated the deflector. A blast of pure creation erupted from the harmony, engulfing the cosmic horror. Where nothingness had existed, suddenly there was everything: matter, energy, life, thought, all compressed into a single point of infinite density. The nullifier writhed in apparent agony, its form destabilizing as it was overwhelmed by the concentrated essence of existence. With a silent scream that echoed through subspace, the entity imploded, leaving behind nothing but a faint ripple in the cosmic background radiation. As the crew of the Harmony caught their breath, marveling at their narrow escape, Samara sagged against the captain's chair. The effort of channeling such immense energies had taken its toll, even on her hybrid physiology. "Status report," she managed, her voice weak but determined. "Shields at 12%, weapons offline, and half our systems are fried," the tactical officer reported grimly. "But we're alive, and that thing is gone." Samara nodded, a weary smile playing across her luminous features. "Plot a course back to the nearest starbase. I think we had enough exploration for one day." As the Harmony limped home, news of their encounter spread rapidly through subspace channels. The victory over the nullifier was hailed as a triumph of cooperation between species, a testament to the power of combining human ingenuity with luminary wisdom. But Samara knew that this was only the beginning. The encounter had opened her eyes to threats lurking in the darkest corners of the universe, threats that the alliance between Earth and Lumina Prime might be uniquely positioned to face. Upon their return, Samara addressed a joint session of human and luminary leaders. Her words, broadcast across 2 galaxies, would shape the course of both civilizations for generations to come. "We stand at a cosmic crossroads," she began, her voice resonating with the gravity of her message. "Our journey to the stars has revealed wonders beyond imagining, but also terrors that threaten the very fabric of existence. We can no longer afford to be merely explorers or diplomats. We must become guardians of reality itself." She proposed the formation of a new organization, the Cosmic Aegis. This elite force would combine the best of both species: human adaptability and creative problem-solving, paired with luminary cosmic awareness and advanced technology. "Our mission will be to seek out these cosmic horrors, to stand as a bulwark against the darkness that lurks between the stars," Samara continued. "We will be the shield that protects not just our worlds, but all worlds, known and unknown, from threats beyond comprehension." The response was overwhelming. Volunteers from both species flooded in, eager to join this new venture. Research initiatives were launched to better understand and combat extradimensional threats. Shipyards began constructing a new class of vessels specifically designed for cosmic peacekeeping. As Samara oversaw the formation of the cosmic aegis, she felt a profound sense of purpose. The joining had prepared her for this role, to be a bridge not just between two species, but between the forces of creation and destruction that shaped the universe. Yet, even as hope blossomed, a nagging doubt lingered in the back of her mind. The nullifier had been defeated, yes, but at great cost. And if such an entity existed, what other cosmic horrors might be lurking in the vast, uncharted regions of space? Samara gazed out at the star-filled sky, her enhanced senses perceiving the intricate web of reality that bound all things together. She knew that the true test still lay ahead. The battle against the nullifier had been won, but the war for the very nature of existence was just beginning. With determination in her heart and the combined strength of two civilizations at her back, Samara prepared to lead humanity and the Luminary into a new age of cosmic guardianship. The stars beckoned, full of promise and peril in equal measure, and she would meet them head-on, a sentinel at the threshold of eternity. Echoes of infinity. The cosmic aegis headquarters pulsed with activity, a nexus of human and luminary cooperation floating in the void between galaxies. At its heart stood Samara, her form shimmering with barely contained energy as she addressed the assembled leaders of both species. The nullifier was just the beginning, she declared, her voice resonating with cosmic harmonics. Our long-range sensors have detected a disturbance in the fabric of reality itself. Something is coming, something that threatens not just our galaxies, but the entire multiverse. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing a kaleidoscopic tear in space-time, growing larger by the moment. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the audience as the implications became clear. We're calling it the Omega Rift, Samara continued. A convergence point where countless alternate realities are bleeding into our own. If left unchecked, it could lead to the collapse of all existence as we know it. The human president of Earth, her face etched with concern, spoke up. What can we do against such a threat? Even with our combined technologies, how can we hope to mend the very fabric of reality? Samara's eyes, swirling with starlight, met the president's gaze. We have to think beyond conventional science. This crisis calls for a merging of the physical and the metaphysical, a union of science and cosmic spirituality that neither of our species has fully embraced until now. She gestured, and a new hologram appeared, a massive ring-shaped device unlike anything seen before. Behold the Harmony Nexus. Part machine, part organic computer, infused with the collective consciousness of volunteers from both our species. It's designed to resonate with the fundamental frequencies of reality itself. The Luminary High Counselor, his form flickering with uncertainty, interjected. You speak of risks beyond measure, Samara. The volunteers, will they survive such a merging? Samara's expression softened. I won't lie. The dangers are immense, but I will be among those joining with the Nexus. My unique nature as a human luminary hybrid makes me ideally suited to serve as its core consciousness. A hush fell over the assembly as the weight of Samara's words sank in. She was proposing to risk not just her life, but her very essence in this desperate gambit to save all of creation. In the days that followed, preparation for Operation Cosmic Harmony reached a fever pitch. The greatest minds of both species worked tirelessly to bring the Harmony Nexus from concept to reality. Thousands of volunteers, humans and luminary alike, underwent rigorous screening to determine their compatibility with the device. As the Omega Rift continued to expand, threatening to engulf entire star systems, a sense of urgency pervaded every aspect of the mission. The fate of not just two species, but of all possible worlds hung in the balance. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. The Harmony Nexus, a gleaming ring of impossible proportions, hung suspended before the roiling chaos of the Omega Rift. Samara stood at its center, surrounded by the chosen volunteers, a diverse group of humans and luminari, each bringing their unique strengths to the collective. "Remember," Samara addressed them, her voice filled with both gravity and hope, "once we join with the Nexus, we'll be navigating the very currents of creation. Trust in each other, in the strength of our unity. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts." With a final nod to the anxious observers, Samara initiated the activation sequence. Energy surged through the Nexus, enveloping the volunteers in a cocoon of light. Their physical forms began to dissolve, merging with the structure of the device itself. Samara felt her consciousness expand exponentially, intertwining with the others to form a vast, multifaceted awareness. Human intuition and creativity flowed seamlessly into luminary cosmic understanding, creating something entirely new, a hybrid intelligence capable of perceiving and manipulating the very foundations of reality. As one, they turned their attention to the Omega Rift. Through their enhanced perception, they could see the tangled threads of countless realities, each vying for dominance. Infinite variations of history played out before them, worlds where humanity had never reached the stars, realities where the luminary had conquered the galaxy, and stranger alternatives beyond imagining. With infinite care, the collective consciousness of the Harmony Nexus began to untangle the snarl of timelines. They wove discordant strands back into the proper flows, sealing breaches between dimensions with the power of pure thought. But the task proved even more challenging than anticipated. As they worked to mend reality, echoes of the alternate timelines blurred into their shared consciousness. Samara found herself reliving countless versions of her own life, realities where she had never left Earth, worlds where the joining had failed catastrophically, timelines where she had become a conqueror instead of a peacemaker. The others faced similar trials, their very identities threatened by the onslaught of infinite possibilities. More than once, the collective wavered, nearly torn apart by the psychic maelstrom. It was Samara's unique dual nature that held them together. Her human side provided the emotional anchor, the unbreakable will to persevere against impossible odds. Her luminary aspect offered the cosmic perspective needed to navigate the seas of infinity without losing themselves. For what seemed like an eternity, the Harmony Nexus fought against the tide of chaos. Slowly, painstakingly, they knitted the torn fabric of the multiverse back together. As the last strands fell into place, a wave of energy unlike anything ever recorded pulsed outward from the Nexus. When it faded, the Omega Rift was gone. Reality, across all known dimensions, had been stabilized. But the victory came at a steep price. As the volunteers' consciousnesses began to disentangle from the Nexus, it became clear that they had been profoundly changed by the experience. Many found it difficult to readjust to their individual identities after being part of something so vast. Samara, as the focal point of the collective, bore the brunt of the transformation. When she finally emerged from the Nexus, her form was barely recognizable. She had become a being of pure energy, her human and luminary aspects seamlessly blended into something that defied classification. As the stunned observers watched, Samara's new form coalesced into a shape reminiscent of her former self, but composed of swirling light and cosmic energy. When she spoke, her voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "We have succeeded," she announced, her words carrying the weight of newfound cosmic awareness. "The multiverse is safe, but our work is far from over. In mending the rift, we have glimpsed the true nature of reality and our place within it." Samara went on to explain that the Omega Rift had been just one symptom of a larger cosmic cycle. The boundaries between realities would continue to thin and strengthen over vast epochs of time. The Harmony Nexus and the cosmic ages would need to stand eternal vigil, ready to intervene when the next crisis arose. But this revelation brought with it a new sense of purpose and unity. Humans and luminari alike had stared into the face of infinity and emerged stronger for it. The volunteers who had joined with the Nexus, forever changed by their experience, became revered as the cosmic shepherds. beings uniquely attuned to the ebb and flow of reality itself. As for Samara, she found herself in a unique position. No longer bound by the limitations of physical form, she could traverse the cosmos at will, serving as a bridge not just between humanity and the luminary, but between all sentient species and the fundamental forces of creation. The story of Dr. Samantha Carter, the human scientist who had volunteered for an alien experiment and ended up saving all of existence, became legend. It was a testament to the incredible potential that lay dormant within humanity, waiting to be awakened by the right circumstances. As news of their victory spread across galaxies and dimensions, a new age of cosmic enlightenment dawned. The alliance between Earth and Lumina Prime, forged in the crucible of universal crisis, stood as a beacon of hope for all sentient life. And at the heart of it all stood Samara, once human, once luminary, now something gloriously, terrifyingly new. She gazed out at the infinite expanse of the multiverse, a guardian at the threshold of eternity, ready to face whatever wonders and horrors the cosmic future might hold. The adventure, she knew, was only just beginning.